Good evening, guys. My name is Danny, and I will be giving you today's webinar in Orlando, Tampa, and uh, in Florida, Orlando, and Tampa. Do you guys hear me okay? Can you see my screen? I also have as panelist my coworker, Emily. If you can please present yourself.
Hi everyone, my name is Emily. I'm here to help you all throughout the webinar. If you have any question, please feel free to ask it.
Fantastic. Thank you, Emily. Okay, guys, I'm going to be giving you a little overview of all our system and what you can analyze, how you can do it. I'm going to give you some short concepts, and I am also going to be interacting with you. I'm going to be asking you at a certain point to give me some examples and also zip codes of areas that we can analyze. So you can take a look at what you can do throughout the system. If you have any questions, like Emily said, please do write any. Um, I will be answering all the questions live. If you want additional information about the system that I'm unable to answer at the moment, you will be giving us your information and we will contact you, okay? Now, you know that Bnbvestor is a global analytic for vacation rentals and bed and breakfast. Okay. In other words, a very comprehensive database for BNB listings. So what you can do here is analyze any area you choose or wherever you buy your product, of course, um, to see what's the best area where you can invest in BNB. And then, of course, it gives you the comparison throughout the United States um, with regular rentals. Why is this important? Because uh, it will tell you what's best, if it's best to rent in BNB or to rent the actual property. Okay. Now let's start off with the concepts down here. We have the active rentals. The active rentals are the number of listings available. In this case, we're looking at the whole United States. So there's currently 990,000 active BNB listings in the whole nation, okay? And then as regular, we have 530,000, almost 31,000 active regular rentals, okay? Then we have ADR with it, which is average daily rate. It's the average rate of accommodation per occupied room. That is the average sale price per listing. Remember, we're talking around the whole US. So the average is $167 for B&B listing per night. And then we have regular rentals for $56. Remember that this is now divided with an occupation of or occupancy of 95%. Since it's regular, of course, almost or more than 18 days of the month are going to be occupied because it's a regular rental. You sign a lease of a whole year or 6 months. Okay, so it's always going to maintain in the top 95 to 100 to 99% of occupancy. And then as occupancy, we have the number of book days divided by the total number of days available for rent, which is properties with no reservations included. Okay, so um, the average occupancy around the whole US is 58%. Then we're going to go in a little deeper into states and then county, city, and zip code. I'm going to tell you a little more about it in just a bit. And then we have revenue. It's almost the most important thing we're going to be looking at here. So the revenue is the total monthly income. It does not include taxes, services charges, or additional charges like Netflix, electricity, water, and all that stuff. That's not added to the revenue. So in regular BNB, you will have a revenue of $2,945 monthly. And then as regular rental, you will have 1,617. So look at this. With an average daily rate of, let's take a look at regular rentals. with an average daily rate of $56 and of course an occupancy of 95%, you have an revenue of $1,600. But with a B&B average daily rate of $167 and half of the occupancy of the regular rental, I mean, 58%, it doesn't even get to the 60. It gives you a monthly revenue of $2,945, okay? Which is going to give you this percentage up here, which is the most important. It's the additional revenue. So the additional revenue is the uh, what the what you're going to get additional to the regular rental. It means that you're going to receive of revenue additionally uh, from the regular rental 83%. Okay, so what in this case analyzing, and I'm telling you without even going into the system and deeper, um, what's best to do as a business. Is it B&B or regular rental? I leave it up to you. Okay, so then up here we have, or you can see up here, you can see the colors divided into red, yellow, green, and then dark green. Okay. The red is for listings. You see up here that we have the color distribution for listings. The states that are the dark green are the states that have the highest B&B listings. Okay, so they have a lot of B&B listings. Then the red is the one that least has. The yellow, it has from 26 to 50% of BNB listings. It means that it doesn't have so much. And then green is right below the dark green, doesn't have as much either. If we change the distribution into occupancy, you see how all the colors modified, and it's going to now distribute it into the states that have the highest occupancy rate. Okay. Then we have the highest average daily rate. You can see that California has maintained dark green ever since the very beginning. But it's going to surprise you in just a bit. Then we have revenue. Um, it changed again. We see that the colors went down as well. And then additional revenue, which is what we're interested in looking at. Um, the states that are in red are the ones that have less additional revenue. So it, the meaning is that, or what I want you to analyze and see is that not always having a high occupancy and a high average daily rate is going to give you the highest additional revenue. Okay, because you can have, for example, a low average daily rate but a stable occupancy rate. Let's say that there's 2 seasons in the state that we're going to analyze. You're going to have a very reasonable additional revenue. Okay. Now I'm going to go back into the listings, and I'm going to go really quick into our places icon. In our places icon, we're going to sort descending and see the actual states that are top ranking with the highest Airbnb listings. Okay. So we have California, Florida as the second place, New York, and Texas. Remember, I'm going to just do a small pause. Remember, you can always make any questions. If I'm going too fast, if you want me to go over anything or any concept that you didn't understand, please do ask any questions whenever uh, whenever it comes up, okay? Now, so the top ranking states with Airbnb listings, as you can see the numbers here, is California, Florida, New York, and Texas. Now, if we change our political distribution to occupancy, we can also sort into the states that have the highest occupancy rate. We can see how it modified now into Hawaii with 76%, DC, Florida, still high ranking, California. can also change this into ADR, which is average daily rate, and sort descending again. Okay, we can see that Delaware, Wyoming, Colorado, and Vermont are the highest states with the highest average daily rate. Of course, you can see that their listings are not high ranking and their occupancy is particularly low. Okay, so this may be analyzing the state. It may be that there's two seasons or one season in each of these states, and of course you can see that there's not so much, and they have a high average daily rate. You can see their additional revenue. So this particular uh, way of operating has been working for them because you can see their revenue and their additional revenue are pretty high. Then we have the revenue. We are going to sort descending again so we can see. And then our additional revenue, I'm going to change the distribution here so you can take a look at the states and sort. Oh, did I already click on it? Okay, there we go. So now we have Wyoming, South Dakota, Montana, and Wisconsin are the top states with the highest additional revenue. Now we can also change this into county, city, and zip code. But first, I'm just going to click, since we're right now located in Florida, Orlando, and Tampa, I'm going to click in Florida so we can actually analyze the areas in the state. Okay. Now it changes the distribution of the state into counties. I'm going to go back into my places icon. Okay, so down here, right before I explain this part, you can see how the numbers updated into active rentals, ADR, occupancy, and revenue, and additional revenue. You can see that active Bnb listings, there are 134,000 compared to regular rentals, 47,000. So it's like 1.5 on top. And then we have additional revenue, $165. I'm sorry, yeah, I apologize. It's the average daily rate, $165. The occupancy, it's an average of 63%. And then a revenue of $3,161, and it has an additional revenue over the regular rental that you see here of 91%. So guys, you're in a very good state to be investing in Airbnb. Okay, so now I'm going to go ahead and select or change the distribution or the category of this into city. And I want to see the states. I'm going to go through all of them so you can see the different or the top ranking cities in the state of Florida. Okay, that have the highest listings, occupancy, ADR, revenue, and additional revenue. So we have Kissimmee, Miami, Davenport, and Orlando. Then if we look a little lower, we have Tampa down here with 2,600 listings. It's not very far away from what we have over here. We can see that the top two, of course, are Kissimmee and Miami. Now, the highest occupancy rate is, and forgive me if I pronounce it incorrectly, it's Chattahoochee, uh, Town and Country, Chuluda, and Mulberry. But if you take a look into this, these are not very good cities, let's say, to be considering their high occupancy rate, because you can see that the first one, to not pronounce the city wrong again, we have one listing. Of course, it has 91%, so it doesn't have very much to compare, right? Then we have the second one with 10. But let's take a look into, for example, Key West. It has 77% occupancy. Then we have Winter Park with 74%. It's pretty high. Clermont has 72%. So these are cities that you want to consider, the ones that have sort of high listings and not compare it with, for example, this. Okay. Then the highest average daily rate. We have Golden Beach, Mesquite, Ball Harbor, and Fellsmere. Fellsmere. Now, take a look at this again. We have the listings 4, 4, 46, and 1. But you can see, of course, with an occupancy of 33, 46, 56, and 45. So this we're not really going to consider. If we scroll down in this first page, we can see Siesta Key. It has an average daily rate of 244. We have Lake Buena Vista in 256. You can even consider Sanibel with 620 in $273. Okay. Then we can go to zip code, but that's going to be very specific because we're still in the state. I'm going to go ahead and click in Tampa so that I'm sorry, in Hillsborough, so we can take a look and analyze this specific county. Okay, so here we have 2,176,000 BNB listings, and then regular listings, almost the half of it, 1,891, with an average daily rate of $107 and a regular rental of $50, an occupancy rate of 69%, and remember, the regular rental is always going to maintain their occupancy rate, okay? And then we have revenue with the BAB listings with $2,245, and then regular rental with the revenue of 1,444, okay? And then an additional revenue of 56%. I think it's pretty good, considering it has it doesn't have as a very high active BNB listings and a high ADR, considering as well the occupancy. So many factors are considered when you are analyzing your additional revenue. So uh, just because it's 56%, take a look at the rest and you will see that it will matter. Okay. I'm going to go ahead and click on places again, and I am going to sort this descending so we can see what cities now have the highest average daily rate. So we have the first, Temple Terrace, Dover, Apollo Beach, and Riverview. But we can see down on 6 that Tampa is the highest with listings that we have in this section. 70% occupancy, 104 average daily rate with a revenue of 2,213 and 60% of additional revenue. So this is pretty interesting, okay? I'm going to go ahead and click on Tampa. And I'm going to go back into my places icon. Okay, now you can see here that since we are already located in a city, now it distributed it into zip code automatically. I mean, we don't have anywhere else to go. But on the map area, you can see the green dots and red. So the green ones are for regular rentals, and the red are for BNB listings. These are active, both regular and BNB listings, okay? You click on any of the dots, it will give you their information depending on where you want. But you can also take a look at their hosts in this area of the best properties. I'm doing, just so you know, and I'm going really fast through these other tabs because in our previous webinar, we did touch these by detail, okay? So by host, You can see all of these properties distributed with their host. For example, Teal Door Hosting has 45 listings in this area. So you can see their different listings. If you click on it, you will see as well where they are located. Okay. Um, if of course you click on any of them, it will take you directly into their Airbnb profile of that specific property. Then we have our best rentals tab where it will tell you what's the best property and uh, type of bedroom in this area that you can rent. Okay. So for example, over here, a mobile home of 3 bedrooms is going to give you 1,600 I'm sorry, 1,161% of additional revenue. I would consider something more realistic, like an apartment condo villa of 4 bedrooms or more, that will give you 206% additional revenue. It means that these are the ones that have most demand in this area. Okay. And of course, apart from demand, it's going to give you the highest additional revenue. Then you can also do this by private room and as well by shared room. Okay. Let me know if we do have any questions so far. Then we have seasonality. This part is very important because it's actually stuck to best rentals and revenue, because it's going to tell you, apart from dividing the calendar by month in this area, when's the high season. And second, you can see the average occupancy and average daily rate. You can see that in the week, for example, in this month of March that I'm looking at, we have a 70% occupancy rate. But you can see that when it hits the weekend, the prices starts to go up. It goes from 150 to 172, 181, and then on Sunday it hits again 160. So this is where you can analyze that. You can play with the days between the week on weekends as well. Okay, playing with the days, I refer to if it's a slow weekend or a slow week, for example, Monday to Thursday, you can lower your prices so that you maintain your property occupied. And then when it hits the weekend, of course, the occupancy rate goes up. A lot more people start to travel. Students go on break or whatever. And that's where you're going to put your prices up. Okay, you're going to have a lot more bookings. Going back into our places icon, I want to show you this new feature, which is the main part of um, this webinar. I want to show you that, uh, for example, okay, so we're looking at this. The top 3 zip codes that we have here are, I'm going to write them down: 33615, 33617, and 33610 are the highest with additional revenue. Now let's take a look at this. I wouldn't want to analyze though these two, because we have over here 33604, right? Because it has 222 active BNB listings, as an occupancy rate of 76%, and an additional revenue of 67% as well. So it's a very good um, zip code to take a look into. Now, what I was going to tell you is that I want you to, I wanted to show you this new part of the system. It's called the Deal Finder. I want to show it to you over here. The Deal Finder is where you're going to find your properties that are active for rent. Not B&B listings, no, regular rentals. Why is this good? Because this is where you can see that if that property is good to maintain in regular rental or as an Airbnb, you can see what additional revenue you can get out of that property. Okay, and then of course you can take or do your homework from there, and you can see or contact the owner or the real estate agent that's in charge of that property, so that you can schedule and see if you can actually rent it as Airbnb is what I would, Danny, suggest you, or as a regular rental. Okay, I'm going to show you because I think I confused you a little with that explanation. Okay, so I'm going to go into Florida before anything because I already explained this part, and I'm just going to go straight forward into the state. Okay, now if you notice down here, you see that we only see active rentals. This means active regular rentals. I don't give you any comparison of B&B rentals because that is in our overview of the regular Bnbvestor, okay? Here we're in the deal finder for rent. Now I'm gonna go into, since we did analyze um, Tampa right now, I'm gonna go into Orange, and then I'm going into Tampa, and then I'm gonna take you guys' actual examples, okay, so that we can analyze the areas that you want. Now you see the political distribution now went from county now to city, and then we can see over here on our left the actual properties that are active for rent. Okay, we can see our additional revenue and a short overview of each of the properties. We can see the grid view if you want to see it neater, but I actually like this one better because that way we can see if we click on any of these cities, we can actually see what where they're actually located. Okay, so I am going to, for example, over here. Okay, we can see here there, that's why I wanted to show you this, because we can see that where they're actually located. So this is why I like this view much better. Now, we can see that in Orlando, we have 1,643 active rentals with an average daily rate. Remember that when it's a regular rental, it's going to maintain, it's not going to pass from uh, let's say $60, $70. And of course, their occupancy is not going to pass either, or I'm sorry, it's not going to be lower than 95% because remember, we're calculating a regular rental and it's based on the 30 days because they actually sign a lease. Okay, so then we have a revenue of 1,488. Remember, regular rentals. Now I'm going to go ahead and scroll down. I want to show you an example. Okay, for example, over here. If we click on this property, we can see the address. Their actual listing price of this multifamily has 2 beds, 2 baths. The name of the owner or the um, real estate agent is Mario Ilive, and it has an additional revenue of 281%. So this is based on the listing price. But we can see down here the comparables, which is the revenue, okay? Where do we get these numbers from? We have an ADR, an average daily rate of $42 with this property, okay? And then it compares it to, if you put it on BNB, it would be 253. Then we have an occupancy, of course, regular with 96%, but BNB is going to be 68%. take a look at revenue for regular rental. It's going to be $1,246. But as a B&B revenue, it's going to give you $5,235. Okay, let's take a look at why. With a regular value, I'm going to select all my properties in the comparables. Remember, these are properties that are I'm sorry, yeah, that are active for rent or that were rented in the last 12 months with the sort of same description as this property that, or the subject property that we're looking at here. So we take a look at the listing price. They're in the same range. So we got a regular value of 1,246. You can see over here the same. Now I'm going into my comparables for B&B listings, and I'm going to click calculate again. And I have my $5,235. You can see that they have the same description as well. Some may go down. Let's take this one out and let's see if it changes a little. Okay, so you can see that the B&B value changed from 3,000 to, I'm sorry, from 5,000 to 3,000 just because we took this one out. But you can see that our additional revenue maintains in 165. So it's pretty interesting that this property, and if you do your homework, I mean your numbers, you can click on the website and it will actually take you to an external link where you can contact this person. Okay, guys, let me know if you guys have any questions, doubts of what I have been showing up to now. Okay, so I got this really interesting question. Uh, Look, Eris, and I apologize if I pronounce it incorrectly. I have this question. Do you sign a lease with the owner and then rent it out to Airbnb? Yes. This is how we're going to do passive income in no time, okay? So Laila, I would have to get back to you with that question, but going back to the question that I just said, yes, you can, and you talk directly into the owner. And I mean, this is not material for this webinar, but I want to clear your doubt. Yes, you can rent a property with, I mean, you can put a property on Airbnb without actually being the owner, okay? So there are actually, you can create your contract or a landlord letter where you can introduce yourself, you can explain what you're going to do, and you're going to actually be like a partner with the actual owner of the property, because you're going to tell them, it's not like you're going like Lila just asked of rental arbitrage. No, because you're actually going to tell them that you're not going to live there. You're going to be renting that property on Airbnb. And of course, you have to create your project, Aries, so that you can tell them what's the benefits of being with you in Airbnb instead of renting the property regularly, okay? One of the things, and I'm just going to shout it out to you, even if I shouldn't at this point, but one of the points that you should throw out to that owner that you're trying to grab for that property and to put it on Airbnb is because, for example, when you rent a property as the owner to a regular person for a lease of 1 year or 6 months, you don't put, or they don't give you any insurance, okay? So Airbnb is just like having a local store. So you're gonna have a company insurance. You have to have that property spot clean, and those are things that you are going to be telling the owner that benefits them being with you instead of renting the property on regular Airbnb. Lila, what about the county restrictions in Orlando for Airbnb? Um, I would have to get back to you with that question. The CEO, Francisco, will get into deeper into that matter. I would imagine that that's the material for zoning, and he will give a webinar about that information, okay? I apologize if I don't touch that in this particular seminar, but we will get back to you, okay? Do we have any questions so far, apart from the ones we just did? Always at your service, Layla. Okay, so I'm gonna go back and I want you guys to give me, since we're located in both, or this seminar is for both Orlando and Tampa, can you give me some examples so that we can take a look at some areas to see if the properties are good to rent and if you want to analyze a specific part in our Bnbvestor page? Okay, I have a zip code over here. I'm going to go ahead and, okay, give me a moment. Okay, I'm going to click search. In region, I'm just going to put in the zip code space. Okay. Okay, I have one other question about what we were just talking about. How many leases can you have under your name? Um, I don't want to talk without having uh, the actual or being sure of the answer, Eris, but I am pretty sure, and correct me if I'm wrong, any of my listeners, uh, that you can have several leases under your name. I mean, I don't see any problem if you can keep up with all the if you can keep up with all the monthly cost of rent with for all of them. I don't see any issue. Okay, and of course, remember that you have a reputation, so having your reputation is going to count very much. And yes, you can email us at bnbvestor@gmail.com, and we will be able to answer you any questions you have. We can actually also give you any or a direct one-on-one demonstration of the system, which is basically what we have been doing right now, but a one-on-one, of course. Always at your service, Layla Aris. Okay, so I got this zip code that you wanted to analyze. You can see that we have active rentals for B&B listings. We have 19, and then for regular rentals, we have 100. Then we have for B&B, an ADR for B&B, $129. Occupancy for 60%. And revenue of 2,353, and an additional revenue of 23%. Now let's take a look at our host. Okay, let me show you this host in particular. This one and then Kevin. So we have over here Carla with a one listing. It's a 4-bedroom, two bath, two beds. I'm sorry, 4 beds, 2 bath, and she must have uh, sofa bed in the dining room or something, because you can fit in 7 people as well. Okay, so you can see that she has an average daily rate of $199 and an occupancy of 62%. Okay, with a monthly revenue per property, which is only this one, of course, of 3,751, a rental cost of 1,926. We're going to subtract that, and she has a potential additional revenue of 1,825 only for this property. Imagine what she can do with 2 or 4 properties, for example. Okay. Then we have the best rentals in this area. Let's see what we have over here. So for the entire place, a 2-bedroom house is going to give you the highest additional revenue. Okay, potential revenue. You saw it over here. Allow me one moment and I will be answering that question for you. Okay, it's the percentage that, or the value that, oh, I apologize, Travis. Unfortunately, that is the background noise. I actually find it very peaceful since I'm the one talking. Um, since I was silent for a moment, that's why you heard it a lot. But okay, so the potential additional revenue is what, or the value that represents how much additional income you can expect to make, okay, with the BNB property over the regular rentals. Now, it's the rentals revenue on the average in the selected area in the map. So, for example, if you subtract this, the 3,751 from the rental cost, you see that the potential additional revenue is what she's actually making. Okay, um, it has 1,880 I'm sorry, $1,825. So that is what she is, the actual revenue or additional revenue that she's receiving with that property. There would be other calculations if she were to have more than one property. Okay. Um, I have this other one. Okay, so I have Lila. What specific area did you want, a Disney area, or what zip code would you like? Okay, I have in the meantime uh, 33614. I'm gonna go ahead and take a look into that zip code. Let's reset over here. Um, so I was told from one of our viewers that the background noise on my side is a little annoying. I apologize. Those are the little frogs. But I promise that next time I won't have them. Okay, I'm going to go ahead and apply. 331,614, you said. Okay, let's take a look at this area. Okay, so we have a rental index. We can see how it increased from June of 2017 until, or let's actually check from September to 18 to September 19. It has a 43, I mean, it incremented almost halfway or doubled the Airbnb listings. Okay, so in this area or in this zip code, we have active rentals BNB for 44 active BNB rentals, and then regular 26 active rentals. Okay. An average daily rate. This is a low average daily rate, but let's take a look at this. You see that the occupancy maintains, and we have a decent revenue, additional revenue, even though it has low active rentals and a low B&B rental, okay? Okay, so I have two other zip codes. Allow me a moment to finish up with this example, and we will go up with those other two. Okay, so now I'm going into the host area. Let's take a look over here at what we can see. Okay, look at this one. David has one listing. This actually is very similar to the other one that we looked at as Carla, right? Okay, we have several examples there in line. So David over here has an average daily rate of $165, an occupancy of 77%. His property has 3 beds, 2 bath, and is up for 6 guests. And it does a monthly revenue per property of $3,800. And it has a rental cost of $1,068. So he has a very good actual rental cost for the number of beds he has there, right? Then he has a total revenue of the same because, of course, it's one property. The rental cost, the same as well. And then if we subtract this, it's going to give us a potential additional revenue of 2,794. This was a fantastic example because I'm not showing you companies or multi-listings hosts or hosts that have multi-listings. Okay, so if you're starting off or you want to start off with this Airbnb business, you can take a look and take the example of David and see that he doesn't have a high average daily rate and he doesn't have 100% of occupancy, but you can see that his monthly revenue and of course the rental cost did a lot for him in this case. He has a potential additional revenue for only this property of 2,794. I mean, he can have two other properties and he's already in the 10,000s, okay? If we go to the best rentals, you can see in this area or this zip code that we are analyzing, we can see that 4 or more bedrooms house of the entire place is the one that's going to give you the highest additional revenue. Um, then we have for private room, a house of 1 bedroom. And then for shared room, when it's 0% or a negative number, it means that we don't have, or it must be that we don't have sufficient data to import, and that's why it just doesn't throw in any data by crazy. Okay, I'm gonna go into our occupancy. Let's take a look over here. So you see that for this zip code, it maintains from December to February a high season. Okay, high season referring to 75. You can even, no, not here. So you can even see that from December to March, you have a long season where you can rent or rent your listing, and you will be getting your ROI, return of investment, guys. And then you can just maintain your property in a low average daily rate. I'm just talking to you as an example, and or as an investor as well. You can maintain your average daily rate low so that you maintain your property occupied always, and then receive by the end of the month a decent revenue. Okay, we can see over here where you're going to be getting your return of investment is in March, which is ratifying what I just said over here. Okay, let's go ahead and take a look at the other zip codes that we have over here. So I have 33809. Let's see. Okay. Lakeland. But is it in Hillsborough? Jose? Oh, I'm sorry. It's in Polk. I gotta get my cities straight, guys. Okay, so over here we have 9 active B&B rentals, 22 active regular rentals. You can see in the average daily rate of $112 for B&B, an occupancy of 50%, very decent, and a revenue of 1,737 with a potential I'm sorry, with an additional revenue of 49%. It's pretty good. Don't think that it's not. It's pretty good. It's a pretty good additional revenue considering that it has low active uh, B&B rentals. Lila, it's the name of the website at gmail.com. So it's bnbvestor.com, guys. If you want to contact us, please do email us at bnbvestor.com. Okay, so we have over here, let's go ahead and take a look into host. I'm going to go down, up. Let's take a look at Carol. Carol has 3 properties. It has an average daily rate for all 3 of them of $104. It has an occupancy of 54%. And between the 3 properties, it has from 1 to 3 beds and 1 to 2 bath. And it goes from 2 to 6 guests. Okay. Okay, we got another zip code there. Okay, then it gives us a monthly revenue per property of 1,700. Rental costs, remember, per property of 167. And remember, these are averages, okay? It's not the actual, let's say 1,167 times 3. No. It's the average of all 3 properties. It has a total monthly revenue of 5,123, rental cost of a total rental cost of 3,503, and then it has a potential additional revenue of 1,620. But what I'm looking at over here in the images is that this must be a multi-family home. What do you guys think? I think it's a multi-family because it's almost the same, and she must have divided the bedrooms into different places. Let's take a look at another example. Okay, Lakeland. This is one of the places where you wanted this zip code, right? So over here we have David. He has 1 listing. Of course, remember that the ADR always depends on the theme of your the theme of the place or your listing. For example, if it's cozy or if it's natural. For example, you have it full of plants. So the theme goes along by the hand of the ADR. So this one has a high ADR. So this place has to be freaking stunning. I mean, it must be incredible. you can see that it has an occupancy rate of 61%. He only has one listing though. He has 6 beds, 4 bath, and up to 14 guests. Okay, so he must throw in a sofa bed in there as well. But he has a potential additional revenue of 5,324. Remember, you have to consider that he has a very decent occupancy rate, but he has a very high average daily rate. But what will maintain the average daily rate is both the area and the actual property. The property must be stunning. It must have not even Amazon artwork. I mean, it must have beautiful things in the apartment, okay? So if we click on here, it will take us directly into the Airbnb profile, and we can take a look at the images, which is not the material right now. Okay, we have another zip code over here. Jose, I hope I have answered this zip code for you. Now let's go ahead and go close to Disney. Okay. Oh, no, it's 32830. There we go. Remember that you can always throw in with our website, you can always throw in different filters. Like if you're actually filtering for private room, shared room, or the entire place, like default, or if you want a specific type of property or a specific type of bedroom. If you don't select any, it's just going to search throughout all of them, and you're going to get all type of results. If you select one of them, it will give you results only. Of course, you're going to be using the filter. Never mind. Okay. In this area, so we have, wow, 531 active Bnb rentals and 0 regular rentals. So we have nothing to compare this to. But you can see that the average daily rate is of $223, and it has an occupancy of 50%. Why does it have an occupancy of 50%? Because you can see that it goes down to, so this one affects very, very much. I'm not sure why it went down in June and July, because I think that's vacations, right? And correct me if I'm wrong. So you can see that, and I would guess that the occupancy rate went down because of these two, but it should be higher because this area maintains pretty high. Okay, we have a question. What do you mean blocked, Eris? So she asked, or he asked, could it be blocked for those months? I'm not sure what you refer to by blocked. And you also asked, do you have a sample lease of rental agreement for owners to allow you to rent out in Airbnb? No. That is actually an agreement that you do with the actual owner. Remember that all you need to do is just create your own personal, let's say, introduction letter when you want to rent a property from an owner to Airbnb. And of course, all you need to do is, or I would suggest you to do that letter so that you can introduce yourself. You can, because it's not regular for somebody to tell you, hey, I'm going to rent your property, but I'm not going to live there. I'm going to rent it to somebody else, right? So that's a way of you introducing the actual owner into the business. In this case, you guys, or the owner and yourself, are going to be like partners, because you're going to tell them, I'm not going to live there, but you're also going to be like, you're going to be straight up with them, telling them the truth. Okay. So you're going to be compromised with them, telling them, okay, so you want $2,000 per month. I will give it to you, but I'm not going to live there because this is going to be for Airbnb, and you're going to expose the rest of um, all the positive things of being with you instead of regular rental. Okay, so you said meaning those months, June, July, are blocked for renting it out. I don't think so, because we're not talking about a specific property. We're talking about a specific zip code. So it must be that the system, Bnbvestor, might have gone down by this date, and it didn't calculate, and we don't have the data for those 2 months. Okay, so that's why I say that it must be. Yes, it is very odd, but it must be that it's down, because I mean, in this area close to the theme park, this occupancy rate must maintain high. That's why, yeah, those months are very popular. Absolutely. I'm gonna go ahead and take a look into the host area. Let's take a look over here. Okay, so you can see, I was taking a look, and of course I'm not going to find anything. Yeah, you can see that all the properties have a potential additional revenue of NA. Why does it say NA? Because we don't have any regular rental to compare it to. You can see that, for example, the listings of BMG, this must be a company, okay? They have 63 BNB listings in this area, and they have an average daily rate of 272, an occupancy of 47. So it's not even high. So they work mostly on very high seasons, like for example, those months that we didn't show you, like June, July, maybe August, and even December and January. So they may work in seasons. You can see that they have a monthly revenue per property of 3,800, and then a total monthly revenue of 244,000. So from that, what we can do is take out, or I mean, it's doing the analysis, and once you have all your project and your business up and ready, you will understand what I'm talking about. But from this price of the total revenue, you're going to take out a few thousands of the additional charges, like electricity, water, and all that stuff. Remember that the revenue on our site does not include any services, okay, or any taxes or additional charges. So you're going to just take out those additional charges, a few thousands, but you still have an incredible monthly revenue, okay? I'm going to go ahead and get another. Lila, I hope I have answered your question in this zip code. Okay, so now we have as well the 33767. Let's see what we get over here. We have 737 active BNB listings and 117 active rentals, regular rentals, with an average daily rate of 202 and $93 of regular rentals. Let me tell you that that's a very high average daily rate for the regular rentals, okay? Then we have an occupancy of 73%. That's a lot. This is a fantastic example, okay? Let me get your name. I apologize. Craig, this was a very good area. We have the occupancy of BNB occupancy of 73%, a regular occupancy of 88%, and then a revenue of 4,484, and a regular rental revenue of 2,400. Okay, but take a look at the additional revenue. 81%. That is absolutely great. Um, this is a very good area. You can see how it has grown from 500 to 700 in just 1 year and a month. Okay, let's go ahead and take a look at the occupancy. So we have January, February, March, and April are our highest seasons actually. And then we have a very sustained season, which is as well June, July, and August. It goes down a little, but you can maintain in the business because you can see that in September it goes up again. So that's why it's justifying the 73% of occupancy in this area. When are you going to get your ROI, your return of investment? In March. In March is going to be the month where you're going to get your return of investment. So you're going to start putting your property for rent down in January, and then when you start hitting March, you're going to be getting your ROI, and you're going to remember me. You're going to say, Danny said it. Then we're going into our seasonality. Let's take a look at this, okay? So it maintains very decent throughout the whole year. You can see that it's very stable. I mean, it goes down a bit in December. I wouldn't be able to answer why, but once you do analyze the area and maybe the climate changes, or I have no idea. I mean, once you analyze the area, you will understand why in December it goes down a little. What's the best property to rent in this area? A house of, or for the entire place, a house of 1 bedroom will give you the highest additional revenue. Then you have a house of 4 more bedrooms and a house of 3 bedrooms will still give you a decent additional revenue. But if you notice, basically almost all will give you a very stable and very good additional revenue, okay? If we take a look into the private room as well, we can go from a house of 1 bedroom until a condo, apartment condo villa of 3 bedrooms. I mean, you can even stay of 2 bedrooms and you will still have a 65% additional revenue. Not as high as the other, but it's actually very good once you do start in your business. Okay, December is in Florida. December is cold. Okay, so that means that since it's in a surrounded by water, that is a pretty freezing area. So I would imagine that that's why it doesn't have very high listings in that season. Okay, and then I am going into my host. In the host area, we can see, for example, let's not go with the hosts that have a lot of listings. Let's start with, let's take a look at, okay, look at this one. We have Lena. She has 4 listings. In addition, an average daily rate of 297. Of course, it's a high average daily rate. But if you take a look at the images, I mean, she's very close to the Marriott. It's very close to the beach. So the average daily rate maintains it, okay? She has an occupancy of 67%. Remember that according to the area, it's 73, so it's pretty high. I mean, it's not considering in December, like you guys said. Earlier there was a type of home listed as mobile. Is that including tiny house or just a trailer home? Trailer home, okay? Because when it's a tiny house, it would be a studio, and we do inform when it's a studio, okay? Okay, so let's continue. Over here we have a monthly revenue per property of $6,000 a month. I apologize. Give me 1 moment. Okay, it has a rental cost of $2,488, a total monthly revenue of 24,000, and and then a total rental cost of $9,955. Okay, so it has a potential additional revenue of 14,000 with only 4 property, guys. Okay, so that's a lot of money. And she's only even starting with 4 properties. I mean, she can go up to 5, 10 properties, and she'll be around the $30,000 per month. Per month. Um, yes, I am. Thank you for asking. Okay, so let me see if we have any other zip code that we want to analyze over here. Okay, so we have the last one. Remember, you can always ask any questions. Tell me if I'm going too fast, if you want me to incline into a certain area of the system. I'm just showing you what you can do, what I'm giving you actual real examples of hosts in the area and what they're actually getting as additional revenue. Those are live examples of this being used in other shoes, okay? I'm gonna go ahead and click on this zip code. Let's go ahead and apply. Okay, we have over here in 32803 Orange County, we have active rentals for active B&B rentals for 69. I apologize, I didn't say that correctly. We have 69 active B&B rentals, and we have 73 active regular rentals. And $99 of average daily rate for B&B rentals, and for regular, 52. The occupancy rate has 75% for B&B listings and 96% for regular rentals. Then we have for a revenue of 2,257,000 for B&B listings, and for regular we have 1,500. We have an additional revenue of 49% in this area, okay? Once again, this is, you guys, this has been a fantastic group because you guys have given me fantastic examples of the areas. Because let me tell you, I mean, if you look at it this way, you have low active B&B listings in this area, but you see that it has also a low average daily rate, okay? It has a sustained occupancy rate, and it has, you can see that the average daily rate as well of the regular rental, I mean, it has a very good additional revenue, okay? Iris, yes. Of the example that I showed before this one, we were taking a look at, I don't know if it was Carol, and well, the host that we took a look at in the other example, yes, those were 4 different listings. Possibly, that possibly she has the same concept of theme for all 4 listings, okay? So that's what may be, what may have been. Don't get confused by being the same listings, okay? Let me continue over here. So for this area, let's see the occupancy. Why is it 75%? Because it maintains from, we can start off in October. Yeah, October, it goes up to November, December. Okay, it goes up to March with a high occupancy rate. Then in April, it starts to go down a bit, you can see, but it never passes until September, of course. the uh, occupancy rate, okay? So that's why we have a 75% of occupancy rate for B&B listings. And for revenue, when are we going to get our return of investment? Can you guys tell me the answer? If you did your homework correct and if you paid attention, you will notice that you will be getting your return of investment in March. You put your property to rent starting the high season, let's say October for November, means that you will be gaining your return of investment from December to maybe January, February, and by the end of March, you will be getting your ROI. Let me see over here. Okay. Best rentals in this area, house of 1 bedroom for the entire place. Then we have, I'm sorry, yeah, for the entire place actually. Then for the private room, it means that you can squeeze in a sofa bed maybe and divide this in two. You can also have a 270% of additional revenue for private room. And let's see which one's the highest other. Okay, a house of 4 bedrooms, 134%. A house of 4 or more bedrooms, I apologize. And then for a private room, the second one ranking is a house of 2 bedrooms. So we can rent it individually and you will still get a very high additional revenue. Let's take a look at real examples in this area. Let's see over here. Okay, look at Katie. Katie has, very neat by the way, Katie has one listing. It's listed for $132 daily, an occupancy of 85%. And it has 1 bed, 1 bath. It has a monthly revenue per property in 3,412. Why does she have that? Because you can see the occupancy rate is high. She has a high occupancy rate of 85%. Then we have the rental cost of 1,500. If you subtract that, you are going to get a potential additional revenue of $1,893 only for this property, guys. She has a property of 1 bedroom, 1 bath, it's a relatively low average daily rate, and she's getting a very good potential additional revenue, okay? So this is it for this example. I'm going to go ahead. Do you guys have any questions up to what we have seen today? Yeah, it's actually very nice. Well, I'm not sure. I haven't been there, but it is very nice. It actually has very good numbers. I recommend it. Okay. So you have an idea once you are in the Bnbvestor page and you click sign up. We offer you 2 different products. Okay, we have countrywide and for 1 state. If you go for 1 state, you can select which state, and you're going to have access to, of course, all the counties of that particular state for $79. Now, if you choose the whole United States, you will be able to do Airbnb investing in the whole US. Any state, you can access any city, but it's per country. For example, you want to, or of course, it's not the case. We're talking in Florida right now, but for example, you're in Canada and you want to do Airbnb over there, you would have to purchase the Airbnb plan in Canada, not the United States, okay? So per country, you're going to get all the states, and then per state. You have a discount if you purchase the annual of 2 months. This is fantastic because this is a special discount that Danny is going to give you. You're actually going to be paying for 10 months, okay? Not for the whole 12 months of the whole year. Do you have any questions? Emily, do you want to add anything to today's presentation?
Well, I think that we have answered everything people have been asking. It's been a very complete webinar, and I think everybody's happy with their answers. And I think that the program could be very useful in those areas they are asking.
Fantastic. Okay, so this has been a fantastic and excellent. I am very glad, happy, and satisfied with today's group. Stay tuned for next week's webinar. We possibly will be talking about zoning, possibly. That may be a surprise, okay? Will this be replayed somewhere? You missed it. Yes, we can. You can actually email us at bnbvestor.com and request the actual video, and we can send it to you, okay? Guys, it has been a fantastic pleasure being with you today, presenting you to our system. I hope I have answered all your questions and all your doubts. I hope you join us for, well, actually the whole system, but if not, stay tuned for next week's webinar and we will speak soon. Once again, my name is Danny, speaking to you as your main host right now, my coworker Emily on the other side, and thank you for attending. Have a wonderful evening.